Welcome back to the Coven My Uniqas, and this episode on Uniqa Chats, I'm gonna talk about a frankly hot topic. It's white men. I was mainly inspired to make this video by my own comment under the Dark Skin Clicks video, where she explains about her not being a divestment channel, and what I said in the comments on the screen is basically what I'm gonna say throughout this whole chat. The only thing I'm gonna do is expound on it. That being said, pasta and lobster has been a hot topic in the B.W.E space, especially in certain sectors of it, like the divestment community. From what I can see, ever since Chrissy started pivoting into more soft life content, and it also being divestment adjacent, the rest of the B.W.E community started to trend in that direction, whether it be the rhetoric or more explicitly divestment channels have been popping up. And in my opinion, I feel like most of them overstate the virtues of white men, and it's honestly funny to me because most of these women in the soft life B.W.E sphere want a specific type of white man that fits their definition. Like, they want a white man they want a white man.
Trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes.
Wait, I feel like I was describing Gojo. I feel like they are allowed to have a preference, but I feel like that preference is born out of a lack of interaction with white men. It's because most normative black women exclusively date within their race. It's because on average, most black women prefer black men. But another factor as to why they might exclusively date black men is because they might get socially ostracized if they don't. While us Uniqas and Blerds been ostracized from the black community, so we really have no stake in it whether we be ostracized out of it or not. So that's why most of us got our solace through fandoms, especially fandoms online. But it was only some solace. The reason why I say some is because certain white people, and specifically white men in fandom, started to directly antagonize us. And this type of white man is almost the polar opposite of the divester's wet dream. Like, if you ever seen a Wojak or a Soyjak that depicts a nerdy, stubbly man, that is the type of man who is most likely behind a screen complaining about us having our own interests. And when they see a Uniqa or a blurred girl participating in fandom, they get triggered. The reason is that some see our race as woke, and it doesn't help that these men often see fiction as some sort of escape from their grim reality in their mom's basement. Yet our presence seems to encroach on that. And we encroach on our escapism, and they complain and seethe and snivel as a result. So we were like, oh, you don't want us? Okay, we'll make our own spaces. Womp womp. I also have another observation about nerdy white men. With white or non-black alternative women, do you notice how those memes they make often present them as mean, domineering, and oversexualized? Now look at the stereotype of black women, and you see how similar it is? That's why I would advise Uniqas who dress in an alternative style to steer clear from these men, because they are basically consuming tropes of black women but in a different font. Oh, who am I kidding? I've barely been in a relationship. Adding on to this, these nerdy men who often try to compliment a Uniqa or just a dark-skinned black girl who catches AI. However, due to their poor social skills and lack of shame, they do it in the absolute grossest ways that will get them absolutely multiple restraining orders on their resume. Prison records. Sorry. For example, a beautiful dark-skinned girl who goes by Jolieblaire on TikTok. In most of her comments, she gets compared to Casca due to her short black pixie cut. For context, Casca is a character from Berserk who is known to possess dark skin and short brown to black hair. It would have been better if the comparison stopped there. Like, Casca is a wonderful character in general, so it wouldn't be bad if any dark-skinned girl would be compared to her. Like, that's a flex. However, these creepazoid gamsies decide to ruin it. They decide to ruin it by sticking Griffith's face, putting Griffith in their profile picture and commenting under their video. What? And if you're wondering why I'm so triggered by this, it's because in the comic Berserk, Griffith does something horrible to Casca. Let's say something worse than murder. And to rub salt into the wound, when I was researching this and I was trying to find her, I only found her when she was stitched by this Griffith cosplayer who was just like nodding beside her while she just did her makeup. And I obviously knew what the joke was and I hated it. I hated it. Like, bro, telling somebody that you want to do that to you isn't a compliment at all. It ain't a compliment. It ain't a compliment to us dark-skinned black girls knowing our history. Luckily, the comment section was also populated with pretty kind girls who uplifted her beauty in the right way. And I was just like, thank God. If you are a Uniqa who had like a special interest or hyperfixation in Berserk, I want you to comment below if you witnessed this type of buffoonery before. And tell story times about it in the comment section also. And blurred women do the same. Anyways, that concludes my third video on Uniqa Chats. So subscribe and keep that Uniqa magic alive. Bye!